Hey everyone, I'm Heinz and welcome to my channel. And in today's video, we'll be taking a closer look at a free Forex robot called GoldFish Scalper. What this means is we'll take a look at the bot's description, look at its settings, and also explore a couple of backtests. But before moving forward, if you find any of the information in this video helpful, I'm going to ask you to drop it a like. Also subscribe to stay updated with future videos. Now this free expert advisor can be found on the MQL5 website. So what we're going to do is select markets and then experts under MetaTrader 5 and then the free tab. And at the moment, GoldFish Scalper is ranked in first place. So I thought it's a great idea that we take a closer look at this breakout strategy. Now, GoldFish Scalper is specifically designed for spot gold or XAU USD, and it combines price action with the VWAP or volume weighted average price to determine where to enter pending buy and sell orders in the market. Now, unlike many of the other bots featured on the MQL5 marketplace, this robot doesn't use any martingale or overcomplicated strategy, and each entry has its own individual stop loss. Now, the thing that sets this EA apart for me is the fact that it incorporates the volume weighted average price into its breakout calculation. And if we look at some of the images provided by the developer, you'll see an example of how it determines using candlestick high and low combined with the VWAP confirmation for trade entries. He's also included a short video to showcase what the bot looks like trading on a small account and how it performs live in the market. If we explore the backtest image provided, you'll see he used a starting deposit of only $50 with a leverage of 1 to 500. And you'll see the period tested is one that we'll explore today, which is the last year. And in this has generated a total net profit of over $779.85. However, it does have a very high equity drawdown of 87%. He also showcases how he did his backtest, but it's important that you correlate this and do it correctly according to your broker settings and requirements. So now that we've looked at some of the images, a couple of other interesting points about the expert advisor is that even though it's only been published on the 9th of June 2025, it already has 36 reviews with a 4.74 rating. And it's recently been updated to its latest version, so make sure to update it on your account. Now, the developer Wesley is one of the newer programmers on the MQL5 marketplace, but already has 4 products available. So if you'd like me to test any of the others on my YouTube channel, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. So now that we've looked at the expert advisor's description, let's run a few different backtests to see how the bot might perform in the live market. So for our first strategy test, I'll be using the XAU USD because it is a gold created bot, and I'll use the recommended 5-minute time frame. Now for these tests, I'll be testing from the 1st of January 2025 until the 16th of August, using every tick based on real ticks and $1,000 starting deposit. Now if we take a look at the default settings, it looks like these have been created for a 3-digit broker and might not work as well on a 2-digit one. So you'll see if we use those default settings on my 2-digit account that it does end in a loss. But this shows us that we'll need to make some adjustments to showcase it correctly for this broker. But in the end, it ended in a total net profit of minus $323 with a high equity drawdown of over $300, giving us a profit factor below 1. Now, one of the things that you might have noticed from the default settings is that these are quite large for a 2-digit account. So if we use a visual version of the backtest, so if we selected the visual version, we can now actually see where the stop loss and take profits would have been placed in the live market environment. And immediately if we notice that these aren't even on the screen, it showcases that the stop loss might be way too large for a two-digit broker. With a stop loss of over 3.43%, this can be very dangerous on a two-digit broker. Now, the easiest way to see if your broker uses a two or a three-digit version of gold is simply look at the price quoted after the dot on the right-hand side. So on this strategy tester example, you'll see only two digits, meaning we'll need to adjust the default settings for this specific broker. And if we compare it to my live Forex account running on my VPS, you'll see that this example uses a three-digit, so that's important for this robot and for different gold trading EAs that you make sure you have it correctly adjusted for your type of broker. So now that we know the default settings are actually created for a three-digit system, let's simply adjust the take profit, stop loss, and trailing stops to reflect what it should have been if it was made for a two-digit broker. So far, I'm only using the default settings so we can look at the strategy itself before making some optimizations and adjustments to hopefully increase the profits. So now that we've run our first strategy test, we'll see now we have a profitable expert advisor. However, it's only barely break even. This is reflected in a profit factor of 1.01 and a total net profit of $55 with a maximum equity drawdown of over $180 and a 65% win rate. So now that we've seen this, it might force us to make a few simple changes in the way that the expert advisor reacts to the market. And one of the first things that I like to adjust is the trailing stop function to make it about the halfway point of our take profit target. So once it's reached 600 points, it will adjust the take profit by 600 points as well, giving us a very old style of trailing stop. Now, some other important in consideration or changes that I've made is the way that the GoldFish strategy itself reacts in the market. So instead of looking at a single high or low, I wanted to scan three candles and use the daily VWAP or volume weighted average price. On top of this, I don't want buy and sell orders at the same time in the market, so I'm going to select that to false. This makes it a lot easier to track the performance and understand how it's performing live in the market. Now, with these adjustments made, remember this is for a two-digit gold set file, and I'll also have a three-digit version available for you. So now that we've seen that, what does the strategy actually look like in real life? Now remember, I don't have access to the source code for the EA, so we'll be using an example of what I think the strategy is performing in the background. Now the first thing that we'll need to add is our anchored VWAP, which is reset on the daily as we've changed that to 0. So now the VWAP on TradingView has three different bands. It has our standard band, which is the blue line in the middle, and it also has an upper and lower band, which is determined according to the calculations in the background. Now, the way that I think this expert advisor works is it scans for price ranges outside of the VWAP and then places a pending order, either a buy stop or a sell stop, above or below this mark. Then for the inputs that we've now changed, each trade has a take profit of 1200 and a stop loss of 900 with a trailing stop of 600 points. This gives us a positive risk to reward ratio of 1.33 for each individual trade. So now that we've dived a little bit deeper into the strategy behind GoldFish Scalper, let's take a look at those backtesting results. Now remember, this backtest is performed over the last year using every tick based on real ticks, and we immediately see an improvement in the curve and the balance and equity lines. Now, starting off with an initial deposit of 1,000, the bot was able to generate over $199 in profit using a 0.01 lot size. This is a healthy total net profit if we compare this to the maximum equity drawdown of only $124.76. This gives us a profit factor of 1.11, which is significantly increased from the original profit factor of 1.01. So overall, making these minor adjustments to the set file, we can see that it can make a major difference in the way that the bot performs live in the market. Now, the set file that we looked at here is currently running on a 2-digit account. However, as we saw earlier in the fourth video, my RoboForex account uses a 3-digit system. So to adjust the set file now to a 3-digit system, we'll need to make a few small adjustments. Now the set file will be running live on the RoboForex account, which you can track using my FX book under the magic number 106. And you'll notice for a 3-digit broker, I added back the zeros at the end because this is a 3-digit denomination for spot gold. Now, the settings will be running live in the market, so make sure to subscribe, drop the video a like, and you'll get future notifications on updates of how the bot is performing live. And with all of that said, guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching until the end. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. Until next time, happy trading. Bye.